let's discuss the Dallas Goedert situation. The Eagles, are 1 week out from the NFL draft. And Dallas Goedert is still on this football team. He is still here. And I want you to hear Howie Roseman a couple days ago. Howie Roseman talking about Goedert and his impact here, potentially on the draft and what they do.
The unsettled nature with Dallas Goedert right now, how does that affect the approach at that position going into the draft?
The way we look at the draft is it's a separate entity to anything else that's going on. We got to make good decisions in the draft based on who the players are that are available in the draft. We can't make up any positions and make them better than they're not. We have to really have a true process. So it really doesn't affect us. We try to do as much as we can at any position in free agency to try to make sure that we're not in a position where there is needs. Of course, we're not a perfect team, and there's always going to be areas that we're looking to improve. And, honestly, that's going to happen even the day after the draft. We're going to continue to have areas that when we look at our depth chart, we'll go, man, it would be great to add a player here. So the player acquisition period, this is a huge part of it, but it's certainly not the end.
All right, what did you make of that?
You want my honest opinion?
Always.
It was a lot of long talking and brain wrestling.
A lot of brain wrestling.
Because, and you know what, the reason I say that is because normally Howie is more clear and concise when he wants to talk about something. I mean, he gets right to the point. There, he lost me a while ago when because he was talking in circles. Because, and what I got, to answer your question, Joe, what I gather from that is that they don't even know really what they want to do with Dallas Goedert yet. Because most of the time when you talk to Howie, it's very fluid and it's very short and compact. He took a long time to say nothing. Really.
Yeah.
He took a long time to say nothing. So that's why I feel like they don't know what they want to do with Dallas yet.
Well, listen to Ruben Frank this morning, because Ruben gave his take on the Dallas Goedert situation, and maybe he's on it. Maybe this is exactly what they're doing with Dallas Goedert. Here's Ruben this morning.
Look, he's still here because they would like him here at some price. Now, how low is that number, and would he accept, I don't know, $6 million? I mean, he's not going to get it anywhere else. Nobody has any money left to pay Dallas Goedert. So, we're like 6 weeks into free agency, 5 weeks into free agency. There's no money for Dallas Goedert for a 30-year-old injury-prone tight end. So I think that all adds up to there's a chance he's still here. I would say in 9 days he will be here.
All right, so Ruben's take is that they're just kind of strong-arming him, keeping him around to try to force him to take a pay cut. They don't. The way I view Ruben's take is they take him back, right? They're not anti-player.
Not at the number.
Right.
Kind of like the Darius Slay situation.
Yes,
but they don't want to cut him because they know if they cut him. I mean, but here's the thing: if you cut him and bring him back, that's one thing. But I think it feels like they're worried about if they cut him, somebody might pick him up.
I know. So, and what's frustrating to me is we keep hearing more now about how they might take a tight end at 32, right? There's a lot of noise going on, about Mason Taylor, the tight end.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, your guy, Mason Taylor, your guy for
my guy.
Very specific reason we know about. But Mason Taylor, tight end out of.
I waved at his auntie this morning.
Yeah. What do you mean waved at her?
DM.
Hold on. DM and Joy Taylor.
No, I just waved.
Okay.
Before we get Hugh on this,
let
me just.
Really?
All right, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Now we can't trust your opinion because
I refuse. No, I'm not. Whatever you were trying to do, I'm not about to do that.
He was worried about a viral moment there. Here's where I'm at. If the Eagles,
I do like this song.
Wait till they draft this kid. We got a whole thing ready. If the Eagles are deciding, you gotta stop the music. I can't talk over this. If the Eagles are deciding, between drafting a tight end at 32, like their first-round pick, maybe Mason Taylor, or just keeping Dallas Goedert, I'd rather just keep Dallas Goedert, Hugh. He's here anyway, and then I could use my first-round pick on, a defensive player, like a defensive lineman.
Yeah.
It feels like the Eagles are about to, within a week, create a hole to have to fill that hole with one of their higher picks.
Cheaper hole.
A cheaper hole, yes, but one they don't need to create this. They have a tight end. He's under contract.
Yeah.
Every time Goddard's name comes up, they talk as if, or people talk as if they have no salary cap space. They could clearly fold him into the salary cap this year and play the game. I know he's 30. I know he's injury prone. I'm just saying, if it comes down to, like, if we get to the draft next week and they swap him for a 5th-round pick and they end up taking a tight end in the first round, I'm like, hold on. We had a tight end, and you could have used that pick on a defensive player. Hugh, would you rather just keep Goedert or use the 32nd pick on a tight end like, Mason Taylor out of LSU?
Are you seriously asking me
Are
this
you
question?
giving me an honest opinion? Yes, I'm looking for an honest opinion.
Okay. You want an honest opinion?
Well, yeah, let's see if we get it.
I think that, if you go younger at that position, look at some of the young tight ends that are in the NFL right now. And look at like a Brock Bowers. You get a guy like a Brock Bowers on this team with the talent that you already have, you could really do some things. And even though Dallas Goedert, there were some moments for Dallas Goedert in this season.
Yes.
There definitely was some moments.
Well,
for
the moment
Dallas
against
Goedert.
the Saints, that would change the whole season.
But like I've always said, your biggest asset is your availability. And a lot of times when you needed that big tight end, he wasn't available. Now, is Mason Taylor the answer to all of this? I don't know. But I feel where you're going with this because, to be totally honest, if I had to draft with my first pick, with the way that things have gone in this offseason, I would feel more comfortable getting one of those defenders with that first pick. But on the flip side of that, Joe, and I hate to say it, but it kind of plays into that narrative that I was telling you earlier.
No.
I mean, it really does. If they draft a tight end and you already have all these weapons, I mean, what does that say?
Come on.
I'm just saying.
Say it out loud.
No, I'm not. I don't have to. I think at this point, I've irritated people enough with my Phillies takes. So I'm just. But that's what it plays into.
Well, isn't that a 1-for-1 though? Because they lose an offensive player and then gain one. It's sort of
okay,
it's
but
a
it's
net
still
nothing.
But it's still. But to that point, though,
But
Kyle,
we're using the assets. We're
you're
wasting
using
the
an asset to replace that lost asset.
See, well, that's a problem for me. Because it's the same thing. It's the same reason why I'd be annoyed if they drafted Malachi Starks, because they just had a safety on the roster. They let him go. The 32nd pick right now is the best asset the Eagles have left this offseason, barring, them wanting to dangle one of their better players in a trade,
right?
Which I don't necessarily anticipate, right? But I don't understand the idea of letting something you have go, creating a hole, and then just using the best asset you have to replace that. By the way, Mason Taylor, this guy, he's like projected to be the third best tight in the draft. It's not like you're going to get Brock Bowers or something.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Right. If he was projected to be Brock Bowers, I might feel differently because that Brock Bowers looks like he might be an all-time
bona fide.
Yeah.
Bona fide.
And look, you can get a good play. I mean, Mason Taylor might be really good, or whoever the third tight end is, but just based on the mocks, and we do our daily mock every day, to your point, Kyle, they're not going to get probably either of the top two guys.
No, right.
It's Tyler Warren and Loveland. They're going to probably be long gone.
And I don't know how Kevin Patullo likes to use the tight ends in the offense, but, and make no mistake, when Dallas Goedert's on the field, he has a great impact. Like,
yes,
I like what he adds to the offense, but when he's off the field, it's not like a massive, it's not like you're like, oh my God, this offense stinks without Dallas Goedert out there. So it just doesn't make sense to me. It's using too big of a resource to replace something that you don't really need to currently replace right now.
I have been consistent on this the whole time. I just want to keep him. I know, I get it, Hugh. Teams don't like to overpay players, and they look at his cap number and his production and his age and his
he's making
injuries.
12 yams?
About that, yeah. And I know they're trying to save money for the future and all that. And I'm not looking to give him a new contract for 5 years. I think I'm pretty realistic about where Goddard is.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still good.
Pretty serviceable.
Yes, and they just won a Super Bowl with him. He's helped them get to 2 Super Bowls. I just feel like they are. It's a very odd thing with a player that's been very good here for a long time. Plus, they have other holes to fill.
Right.
Like if they had a perfect roster and they didn't have needs on defense, I'd say, all right, let's freshen this up a little bit. Let's go draft a tight end in the first round. But that's not what they've got.
The weird thing is, if they trade Goddard for, say, a 5th, at what point are we like, okay, we have too many draft picks to what are we going to do with all these rookies, especially a 5th-round rookie? The roster's good. What if this guy doesn't even make the team? It's almost useless to have a 5th-round pick right now.
I don't get it.
We have a ton of draft picks.
All right, would you rather just keep Goddard or use the first-round pick to replace him? A lot of people are bringing up Mason Taylor's name, not just Hugh because of, Auntie. Yeah, Auntie.
With that peanut butter skin.
You going to be all right?
No, I'm just saying. Okay. I mean, Auntie aside.
No one buys that.
There's no Auntie aside. You might as well just lean into it.
Auntie aside. Auntie aside. I mean, I think that he would be a serviceable tight end here, and it does add a different dynamic. Yeah. Because, he can stretch the field. He can help stretch the field with the offensive players that we already have. Yeah, no,
this is not an anti-Mason Taylor thing. I think he's going to be a good football player in the NFL. It's just we have a good tight end, and we have holes on the defensive side. and we're going to create a hole here to fill it with another tight end in the first round. It just feels a little wild to me.